Welcome to episode 5 of the Running on Thin Air podcast with 2 guests, not hosts, but you're practically hosts at this point. Maybe it's co-hosts, Maggie Breitenstein and Lydia Breitenstein. How are you both doing today?
So good.
Good. Happy to be back.
Awesome.
Me too.
I love having you both on the podcast, obviously. I think we were just talking before we hit record. This will be now 4 out of the 5 episodes that we've had. One of you has been on this podcast. So you are practically co-hosts, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So I really appreciate it. For those that haven't figured it out from the title, or if you didn't watch episode 4, this is the post-Javelina version of the podcast. So we had a nice long hour conversation about a week before the race, and it was released right before the race. And then this one, we're now, as we record, just about a month. Actually, tomorrow would be a month from race day, which is hard to believe already.
Isn't that crazy?
It's insane. But I don't want to jump to the end too quickly, but we can share with everybody, we have 2 new ultra runners on this podcast. The 2 of you finished your 100K, your first 100K, your first ultra marathon. Congratulations. How's it feel? Maggie, why don't you go first?
I feel good. I can't believe it's already over and now I'm just back to normal life. It's kind of a weird thing to think about every once in a while. It kind of hits like, oh, I ran 60 miles in a day. That's pretty cool. Like I was in my dentist appointment and she was like, what do you do? And I told her I'm a runner and she said she follows Andy Glaze. I was like, I was just at a race with him. And I told her I was an ultra marathoner now and she couldn't believe it. And I was like, yeah, I guess that is something pretty wild to just meet somebody and find that out. But it's pretty cool.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
Lydia, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I miss running a bit. I haven't been running, but I felt great afterwards. I share a similar sentiment to Maggie where I forget I did it. And then people will either like brag for me or I have to like remember myself that I did that. And then like, oh yeah. And same thing. People are in disbelief, but it doesn't, Maggie, I don't know about you, but the whole day felt like an hour. Like
No.
thinking back on the memory of it, it is only good memories.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they say sometimes your brain blocks out trauma or bad memories. So I don't know if it's
I
doing
think it
that,
might have done that.
but I only want to do it again and just only good memories are from that day.
Yeah.
That's
And I
awesome.
don't remember the hard things. It's
Same.
That's great. I love it. I think that's not an uncommon feeling for a lot of people, especially 4 weeks out, now, but that's really good. So we'll get into that a little bit more. I want to kind of start the conversation. We kind of, like I said, we led up to right before the race in the last podcast. And I kind of want to start to that prep as you both were flying out to Arizona, because none of us live in Arizona. So kind of lead up to what was going through your mind, especially that Thursday. We all arrived on Thursday in Phoenix. And what was sort of going through your mind as we were setting up? And then on Friday, you have an entire day outside of registration to sort of sit there and marinate that you're about to run 62 miles. What was going through y'all's mind? Let's go back with Lydia.
Yeah. Landing, I was so excited. I think I was trying to remain calm. I just remember before my first marathon, I was so stressed out and I didn't want to do that before this. All good vibes when we landed. I was just excited too because our whole family drove into town and I hadn't seen them in so long. So I was so excited to see you and Maggie too and all the friends that were coming into crew. It was just mainly excitement. So I don't know. I was very eager just to get there and see what it looked like. And our setup went so smoothly. I was honestly a little scared about it and not looking forward to it, but it was so great. And my parents who drove out from Ohio had everything we needed and more. So that
Including the dog.
including the dog. Yeah. So that was great and made things extra easy. And then our Airbnbs were incredible. It was just great leading up to it, and I was excited to I had a king bed, and I just felt so great. It was so nice to just relax and have a great bed and friends there, and yeah, and Friday, I didn't feel great at dinner. Dinner
Yeah.
was when it hit of, "Oh, wow, like, it's the night before we do a big thing, and I don't feel hungry anymore." I tried to force myself to eat, but I know, like, halfway through dinner, I started to get, like, the nervous belly, and yeah, it kinda hit at dinner, and but registration or packet pickup was so fun. I think I reached a point there where I was pretty done and hot and ready to go relax, but, um, it was so fun. Bought so much rabbit gear, obviously. Got our got our Howie Stern photos, and it was just cool to take in.
It's great. Maggie, before we jump to you, I want to interject and I have to give a shout out to both of your parents because you said it,
Mhm.
Lydia. I mean, I thought I was prepared last year because I drove and so I brought a lot of stuff, but I had no idea how much stuff I didn't bring until your parents showed up and they had absolutely everything and chairs and a great tent and coolers and they just thought of everything. So
They did.
big shout out to both of your parents for dragging that halfway across the country to have it all set up for us all. It made it easier for all of us, I know for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, big shout out to them. Maggie, what about you? How did you feel as you were flying out on the airplane to Arizona and then on Thursday and Friday?
I felt so excited on the airplane. I think I had my entire row to myself, which was super nice. I was in the last row and there was just nobody, so I could just stare out the window the whole time and listen to my music. And it was on my mind a lot, obviously, but I didn't know what to expect of the actual race, so I don't think it made me as nervous as I'd been before for marathons. It was kind of a weird feeling. I'm like, this is a really big deal, but it doesn't feel like a big deal right now. And so Thursday was just fun setting up the tent. It was all excitement, like purely fun. I didn't have like bad nerves at all about the whole thing. And Friday was just super fun. Like Lydia said, we spent a lot of money at the tents and all the gear, but it's so worth it. I want all that stuff to keep forever and ever. And so that was really fun. And Friday kind of flew by. I didn't like, sometimes if you have a big race the next day, I kind of like the day before isn't very fun. Like I don't enjoy it because I'm too nervous, but that's not how it felt at all for me. I think because, again, it was just something different. I didn't know what to expect, that it was just all excitement. And so Friday was great. I slept great. Dinner was awesome. I didn't even it just never felt real. So I think that's what made the day go by so quick, and I wasn't too nervous to sleep or anything. So it went perfectly.
Good. That brought up a question that I hadn't thought of, but you both have done big marathons. So Boston, the Flying Pig, where tens of thousands of people are running these events. And, I think in total between all the distances at Javelina, I think there are about 1,500 racers. How would you compare? How did the expos, the registration, I hesitate to call it an expo really, but how would you compare, what you experience at a major marathon with tens of thousands of people to the registration day on Friday at Javelina? Maggie, go ahead.
Yeah, Max.
I thought Javelina's was the best. Like,
Oh,
it was so much fun, yeah. I like the smaller feel, and we got lucky with the rabbit gear because we got in line pretty soon after it opened, or actually before it opened, we were in line, like, 20 minutes before. That was so worth it. I wanted that shirt or shirts. I bought way too many, but I loved that expo. I mean, maybe they could use a little bit bigger of a space, but you're on the desert. Where can they get a bigger space to,
Mhm.
like, find a tent big enough? Like, I just thought it was great. And, like, the pig was a super fun expo too, and, of course, there's a lot of other brands there because it's in the middle of a city. It's easy to get to and a lot of free stuff, but, like, Javelina's so unique and special that that expo was awesome. And I would even say it's better than Boston's was just so chaotic, you could barely move around, and I just like the unique, fun, ultra gear better. 10 out of 10. That was my favorite expo of any marathon.
Okay, so you both had a great registration. It sounds like it was fun. Lydia, did you agree? Do you think the registration was unique? Do you think it was better than what you've seen at Flying Pig and others?
Yeah, it's just more chill and
Yeah,
fun. And the whole ultra environment is the same. They're just so different. It's hard to compare because one's in the middle of the desert and the rest were in convention centers in big cities. So yeah, it's it's way better in my opinion, but way more fun.
what did you all think? I'll ask you, Lydia, maybe this question because you said you were getting a little bit nervous at dinner. Did all the other athletes that were clearly running Javelina, some of them in the elite field that showed up at the same restaurant, did that make you
Yeah.
more nervous or did it make you less nervous?
I think less nervous because, you're surrounded by like everyone else is still up, everyone else is eating the same meal. That was reassuring. I think the nerves were more internal, just it's hitting me like, "Oh, this is the night before," something we've been thinking about for 10 months now. So, probably 12, and so it just was hitting, and I get nauseous and butterflies and always, so I was feeling that.
Not uncommon for sure. So cool. Well, let's go into Saturday morning. So you all had was it a 7 o'clock start? Is that what time it was? Oh,
Yeah.
and we all knew traffic was going to be a mess and parking is a mess, unfortunately. So talk a little bit about the morning up before the start. How did your mornings go? Did you get up super early? How did you both prep and maybe did you prep differently than each other before the start of the race? Maggie, why don't you start?
Well, I prepped all of my things the night before. I had my entire outfit laid out. I had my whole bag packed. I had every lap packed with the gear that I needed to change into and all my fuel. And I prepped Andy on what he needed to do to be a good crew member. But the morning of, I just kind of woke up. It was chill. I had my normal bagel, peanut butter, banana, honey breakfast.
Sounds good.
Oh yeah, it's the best. And it was just a fun, chill morning. It wasn't really stressful at all, and Lydia and I stayed at different Airbnbs, so we went to pick her up, and I think we left at the time we wanted to, but it took us like an hour to get parked, and it's a 12-minute drive. So if that tells you how long we were sitting in traffic,
Yeah.
then yeah. But we hopped on the shuttle pretty quickly. Like after we
Mhm.
parked, we just walked maybe a minute and waited for the shuttle, which conveniently came probably 3 minutes later, and then we just got dropped off near the park entrance, and we found you, but that was, like, 10 minutes before your race, so we didn't get to spend a lot of time with you. But, yeah, we just spent time laying down in the tent, getting glittered up and final prep with, I had some KT tape on my leg and, braided our hair and got all the last minute things together. But I thought it was pretty chill. It went by
Yeah.
really fast. The morning always goes by really fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Lydia, what about you? Had your nerves gone away by morning? Did you feel better?
Did. In our line to park, I was very relaxed. It was fun to see people we recognized who were rushing to get to the 100 just, like, 10 minutes before it was starting. I saw Mikey trying to run to the start, and
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
So that made me feel better. I'm like, "Well, most of these people are doing the 100 miles, and we still have an hour, so we're good." But yeah, the line was nuts, way worse than I expected. The shuttle, though, was very quick and easy, and I was unlike Maggie, and I had nothing ready the night before, and I just threw all of my food in a bag, and I'm like, "I'm just gonna pick whatever morning of and throw it into my bag." So, it worked out fine.
The reaction Maggie did. How did you do that?
Yeah.
That would have made me nervous right there. Did I forget anything? Do I have enough? But I mean, your mom
Mhm.
had enough to get an army through 100 kilometers. So I don't think that was probably a
So
concern,
true.
maybe. Cool. So you're there. You saw the excitement. You saw the excitement of did you see the first wave of the 100-mile go off? I
Mm,
couldn't remember. Okay. I didn't
we
think so.
just missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so you saw the second wave go off and that half hour as you just continue to relax up until it was time to go line up in the crowd.
Yeah.
What was the starting line like? Tell people, if anybody hasn't seen the video of what a starting line at Javelina looks like, explain what it is. Explain what happens at that start line. Lydia, go ahead.
Well, our mom walked into, like, the flamethrower person. They were like
She did. She was like, "Ma'am, these
they're like,
cones are
"Ma'am."
here because this is dangerous." It's like, "Yeah, we know that. She just didn't see it."
That was freaking
Oh, that's
So,
funny.
yeah, that was a little funny. But yeah, we walked up, said our goodbyes to family, and it was just I mean, I don't know what I would have done without Maggie there. I think I even told her that, like, wow, before we started. But I don't know. Having her there was just great because I wasn't nervous, and I think we were just ready to go at that point.
Yeah.
And it's like it's very wild and lit and lots of music and dancing, and it's just fun. It's not nerve-wracking because it's fun.
Maggie, any thoughts?
I
Any
would
different?
agree.
Yeah.
I just I have a photo memory of, like, standing there with Lydia at the start line, and the sun just rose, and the Lorax is dancing, like, right behind us, and, um, yeah, it was so cool. We were just looking at each other like, "Oh my god, we're about to do this," and we would just dance and smile, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
trip. It's the trippiest start line I've ever been
Yeah.
on. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully it takes people's nerves away. I know it does for me, but it's just a wild, wild, wild time. So,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right. So the gun goes off and you all are running first lap, 21 miles ish for that first lap. It's a little bit longer. Any highlights from lap one at the start? How were you feeling? The conga line? Yeah. What were you all thinking in that first, let's say the first 10 miles till you got to the Jackass Junction?
Which one?
Oh, Maggie. Sorry. Go ahead, Maggie.
Okay. I like when you pick for us. Let's see. I think it wasn't as much of a conga line as I expected. I think Lydia and I we were in a good spot. Like, we weren't getting passed all the time and we weren't passing all the time, but we never had to stop and walk in the first, like, it was never so crowded that, I felt too congested, which was really nice. And we were just kind of like, wow, this is fun. Like, it was a little quiet for the first
Mhm.
bit. It's like,
Yeah.
did we really just start this? But it was still really exciting. Like, I loved it. And we got to the first aid station, Coyote Camp, and kind of breezed through it. We didn't really need anything. Might have used the bathroom. Let me think.
We
Oh,
filled up
yeah,
my big
around,
water bottle or my big water bladder.
yeah,
Yeah.
we
I
did.
kept that.
And then around mile 8, I think Lydia said it first, but she's like, uh, I don't feel great about this. And I said the same thing. I was like, yeah, it just kind of hit me too. I was like, we're going to be doing this for a really long time. And I think our adrenaline had worn away at the exact same time. But then it lasted like a mile or two, and we're like, okay, this is fun again.
It
I think
was so
probably because
weird.
I think because our next milestone was like 10 miles in Jackass Junction. And once we made it, we're like, yay. And then it
10
was all
felt
downhill
better.
from there. Yeah.
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 Yeah. We
Do
both
you
were
want to
like, I'm so nauseous right now. And I was just thankful Maggie was feeling the same because I never wanted to be the first person to admit I wasn't feeling well. So I was like, I don't feel good.
Yeah. I
And
was
Mags, I
worried
was
for
so,
a minute.
yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Interrupted you.
No, you're fine. Do you want to cover from Jackass back to camp?
Sure. I think the funniest part was we started seeing Jack Sparrow then. I think that was our
Okay.
first Jack sighting. I love that man.
Yeah.
Whoever that was, he kept us going. I think we
Huh?
did 2 laps with him. And he
Basically.
was just running in the distance with his hair flying in the back. And then that theme song would just play in our minds.
That was good. That was
Yeah.
good.
I know we kept saying, like, we don't see Brian yet. This is great. Like, he's still ahead of us. And that kept us going too, knowing you were out there. Especially like mile 8 for some reason was horrible. That might have been the worst part of the whole race for me. I felt so sick to my stomach and it was not good. But we were holding each other accountable to eat like every 20 minutes, I think, and drink water. That was super important too. So as soon as one of us drank, we would tell the other and we would both drink. And we did that for so long. But that part was so fun. It was just so flowy and down. And I was all excited to get passed by the leaders of the 100-mile. But we were like, they're still not here. Like, where are they? And then we turned off to do the extra bit on the first lap. And I was like, dang, Maggie, like, we're not going to see them because I realized they would be on their second lap. And
Mhm.
right when I turned around to tell her that, I saw David Roche pass. And I forget who was in first at that time. And maybe it was David, but there were like 3 of them right in a row. And that was really cool. It was like the little amp up before we did this section. And yeah, Brian, you weren't kidding. Maggie and I were like, how bad can this be? Like, we'll get through it. And oh, it was so hot. Horrible. It just kept going.
You're
I didn't
referencing
realize how long.
that extra section that you have to
Yes.
do on the first
What's
lap
it called?
only. It's
Espadito.
it's down on Escondido, I think.
Escondido.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That was bad. Well, it didn't start off bad. It got bad because it just felt hot and it kept going and we had no idea how close we were, how far we were. But then we found you and that was right at the end. So we got to come in for our end of the first lap together. So that was really fun. Yeah. Did
It
I
was
miss
great.
anything, Megs?
No, I think seeing Brian was the coolest part because we were kind of in like I don't know how you describe it, but one of the larger switchbacks. So you were still far away, but you could kind of tell that was you, and we were on very opposite ends. I'm like, I think that's Brian. And then you looked towards us, and we were like, that gave me so much hope. You have no idea. Because I was so over it.
Oh, it made me feel good too, just because, yeah, one, I got to see you. And so I have a picture. I didn't get a great picture, but I did stop to take a photo when I saw the 2 of you over there. But yeah, that section, I was torn a little bit ahead of time as your coach also it's like, I don't want to make it sound too bad so that you're just miserable the entire time. But I also want to give you enough context to say, okay, it's not the funnest section of the race, honestly, in my opinion. Somebody might have a different opinion. But yeah, that first part, you're probably deceived a little bit because like Brian said, this was terrible. And you're still kind of in a flowy section of the trail until you make a little bit of a turn. And then you're just in and out of these ravines, completely lose track of how far you've gone because, like you said, you make this huge loop, around a drainage. As the crow flies, you're 200 meters from where you were 10 minutes ago. And you've done all this work. You're like, is this all I've gone? Is this as far as I've gone? You can't really track your progress towards headquarters. And it just, I don't know. And it's the end of the first lap and you're just ready to get to see your crew and the excitement and everything. And it just drags on forever. It seems like, at least in my opinion. So seeing the 2 of you did help me. I think I was on pretty close to the last hill, that real long one when I saw you. And then the 2 of you caught up fairly shortly thereafter. So yeah, it was nice to be able to go into headquarters together with you. And back on mile 8, once you get the first lap done, that section is also just long. I feel like that section between Coyote and Jackass just also seems to take forever. You feel like you should be at Jackass already, and it just keeps going and going and going. So anyway, that probably didn't lead to your nausea on the first lap, but it certainly maybe just leads to like, how long is this race going to be? Holy cow, I can't even get halfway. It just seemed to take forever. Cool. So you come in, we all came in together. I was in and out pretty quickly because I was trying to save as much time as possible. So I didn't get to spend a lot of time with either of you at the crew stop. How long did you all spend there back at headquarters?
Like 25
Okay.
At least.
Okay.
We took our dear time every time back at headquarters.
It's the quickest time of my life, though. I could have
Oh, yeah.
sworn we were there for 10. And then I looked at my watch and it had been 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the time. You had the time.
Yeah.
You weren't going to time out. So yeah.
That's fair.
No.
Was it just?
I wouldn't change that. I think all of our stops was like 2.5 hours of our race, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so fun.
I wasn't worried about it. Looking back, it's kind of funny. 2.5 hours is a long time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was fun. We got to see everyone. I honestly, like Maggie said, it went by so quick. I thought I had to do like, everything I did I thought was necessary. And then it was 25 minutes later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, look, if you're not trying to podium and you're just out there to have fun, especially on the 100K, because you have 29 hours or something to finish the event. So you've got plenty of time. It's, do what makes it a fun race for you. So
Right.
lap 2, I feel like maybe Lydia should take this one because I think it was lap 2. Some extra
Yes.
additional fun events
Yes.
occurred. Do you want to maybe talk through the
Well,
first half?
I think Maggie should talk through because she had a really rough first couple
Okay.
miles, and then it led into
Oh, okay. All right.
my
Maggie,
fun
why
accident.
don't you start us off?
Okay. Yeah, I will. I think the heat was kind of getting to me towards the end of the first lap, and then going into the second, Lydia was like super ecstatic. She was high energy, and like I was not feeling good. I didn't want to admit it yet because I thought, oh, maybe I'll just get used to it. But like we had done such a good job taking our gels that I was fully fed, and I think that really got to me with the heat. And I had to kind of breathe through not throwing up. So I just kept saying to Lydia, like, I don't feel good. And she's like, just breathe, just breathe. Like, Lydia is the reason that I finished this race because
Oh,
it was going through my head so many times. I was like, if I feel like this for like another hour, I'm not gonna be able to do it. Like, there's no way I'm gonna make it. But then she helped me because she's like, just breathe. And we would breathe together and like kind of breathe through the throw up feeling. And eventually it went away. But I have a video of my phone, and Brian, you can beep this out. But I said in the video, I was like, I feel like shit, but Lydia feels fine. Like, Lydia was just chipper and fine. And I was just so ready to be done. And then we'd gotten to coyote camp and I felt wonderful. Like I was a new person for some reason. Like once we had just walked for quite a long time, I just felt better. And then I was trying really hard to like remind Lydia and I every 10, 15 minutes to like kick our legs. And so at the rest stops, we would lay down and like wave our legs in the air to drain the lactic acid. And so I laid down and then I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like, you've got to try it. And then Lydia laid down. She was kicking her feet and she goes, is there something like stuck on me? And I look and there's a cactus like right on her butt. I think it had gotten on her shoe and she kicked it into her butt. So I don't know. I could keep telling the story unless you want to, Lyd.
you got it.
Okay. Well, I went to the medical tent and I was like, can you pull a cactus out of my sister? And they came over and I was like, it's on her butt. And she was like, oh, okay. And then she came over, she's like, oh, that's really like on her butt. Like you had to lift up her shorts to get it out the back. And so it took her
Oh,
probably 10, 15 minutes to like, it took her so many tries to get all the little things out. Like they were
all
in
the
her
barbs.
shorts, fabric, like pulling
Yeah.
all of that out. And yeah,
It did hurt. That I was trying to hold a brave face. Some of the big one was fine to get out, but it's the little barbs that get stuck in you, and
yeah.
it that did contribute to our 2.5 hours of breaks. It was like another 20 minutes.
Yeah. It had to have been 2020.
Yeah. But it was hilarious. We got good videos of it, and it honestly, it gave me an energy boost. I left feeling so good, and yeah,
Maybe not a
we were
recommended
chatty.
approach to an energy boost, but
No, no.
Yeah.
But, I was happy Maggie was feeling better too, because
Mhm.
the first 3.5 miles to get there were pretty rough.
yeah.
Then
Yeah.
we kept going
Well,
and we saw Captain
that's good.
Jack Sparrow again.
Yeah.
Saw him
You
for the 7th time.
you were leapfrogging him quite regularly, I
Yeah.
think. I think even I
Yeah.
did for a while too. It was a lot of back and forth with Captain Jack. Good. So you got the cactus out of your butt, which is which is good. That was such a funny story. I just remember when you two were telling me about it, and I was like, wait, how? What? How? I thought you sat down. I thought you went off to the side of the trail to go to the restroom and sat on a cactus. And we had talked about it before the race. We're like, avoid sitting on a cactus if you have to go. Like, don't sit on a cactus or a snake. And so I just assumed that's what you had done. I was like, what in the world? Anyway, that's such a funny story. And the pictures are great. I didn't repost them because I figured that's only for you to repost if you would ever want to, Lydia.
No,
But it's so funny.
they can go everywhere.
Adds to the fun.
Yeah.
So, and then we all caught each other. Well, we all caught each other. You two caught me, but maybe a mile and a half out from Jackass Junction.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think you both were doing pretty good at that point, all things considered, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
That was the one time Lydia and I split off from each other because I had to go to the bathroom so bad that it was the fastest I had run the entire race and the longest I think I'd run the entire race without stopping. I was like, "Bye, guys. I really gotta go." And then you saw it on the live stream. Mom and Andy somehow got it on video. I was, like, running through Jackass, and I just kept running, and Mom goes, "Aw, is she okay?" Like, she thought something was wrong because we were split up and I didn't stop.
Yeah.
I was just trying
Multiple
to make it to
people
the porta potty.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
multiple people had, like, pointed out that they saw you checked in before me, and they thought something was wrong. They were like, "What is they're not together. Like, is Lydia okay?" And nope, you just had to go to the
Yeah.
bathroom.
But then when I came out, you had just made it back, and Brian was walking down the hill, and we got to see him again, which was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad nothing was wrong, Lydia. And Maggie, I'm glad you were successful in getting to the bathroom in
Me too.
time. That's always a key thing. Obviously, again, for somebody who hasn't seen the video, there's really nowhere to hide if you have to use the washroom, at least on that part of the course. There's maybe some rocks you could hide behind, but there's really nowhere. So it's
Mhm.
always nice when you can at least make it to a porta potty. Anything super exciting about that second half? How did you feel now that you didn't have to do that extra piece? How did that feel? Going back
Fun.
down,
That was
Lydia.
Yeah, that was really nice. I think I forgot to mention on my first lap, when I got to Rattlesnake, I think I was nauseous there. I did a goo, and I thought I was gonna come right back up on the live stream because the guy with the camera was filming me, and I had just taken it, and I had, like, gagged, ready for it to come back out. Anyway, so this second time when we got there, I was feeling way better and way more excited that we only had, like, 3 miles, and it was the first time we got to see that part in the daylight. Because last year when we both did it, it was nighttime, and
Yeah.
same with the whole race, but that part especially, it was like, "What did that look like?" Because you feel like you're in a canyon and, like, I don't know, it was cool, but it flew by. That was the fastest 3 miles, and at that point, I think we had hit right around mile 40, and we're like, "What? Like, we just hit 40?" And
Yeah.
that just felt like such a big milestone, and we saw Captain Jack there again, and it was so fun coming into headquarters then because that was our last time before the finish, so we were getting our pacers, and it was just super exciting, and my blisters at that point had really started to hurt. I could barely step down on them, so I was dreading that a little bit, but excited to get some help at headquarters, and yeah, my
Yeah.
we can get into that, but my friend Eric popped all of them for me,
Good.
and he got a little wet from the blisters.
Ew.
I know. It's so gross, but I love him.
Part of being a crew, I guess, is
Yeah.
Right.
that's what happens. It's a risky job.
Right.
Maggie, how about you? Did you enjoy that section in the sun? Well, I mean, it was probably starting to get dusk, but it was still bright enough to see. Did you enjoy that section?
Yeah, I think that was my favorite part from Jackass down to Rattlesnake in the headquarters. 'Cause it was all downhill, and that was so nice. That was probably the most we'd run every single lap is we would just run as much as we could in that section. So it was just so much fun. And yeah, Rattlesnake back to headquarters instead of that extra loop, it just felt so short. We're like, "No way, it's right here already." And you could hear the music, like, before you turn the corner
Mhm.
at the last stretch, and that was so fun. We're like, "We only have to do this one more time." That was really fun.
Only 20 more miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Felt like a breeze at that
That
point.
Yeah.
hits really quick once you leave headquarters and it goes silent. You're like, "This
It
Yeah.
again?"
does. You're like, oh yeah, yeah. I have this long slog uphill.
Yeah.
But so before we get to that, you got back to Jackass, and this was party time now because not only is Jackass always, or not Jackass, sorry, headquarters, always a party, but you both are picking up friends and pacers in your cruise there. Did you spend another 20 or 25 or 30, 35
That
minutes?
one was like 30.
30. Just hanging out? Is that what you were doing? Just kind of hanging out,
Yeah.
talking? I'm sure getting changed and changing socks and clothes and those kinds of things, but just relaxing too. Did you sit down? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was just so great. Like all of our friends were like, "What do you need?" And I was like, "Actually, a shirt or like, new socks, or can someone help me with my blisters?" And they were there doing it and refilling my waters or putting more nutrition in my bag. And it was just funny and so overwhelming too. I'm like, I don't know what I need. But then it would come to me. Like I would just settle in, and yeah, it was definitely a 30-minute or
Yeah. But it
yeah.
flew by. I didn't feel like we
Yeah.
were wasting time ever.
Yeah.
Like I sat down and drank some. This is random, but during that stop, the only thing I wanted to eat were the Lunchables that mom and dad brought.
Nice.
Haven't had a Lunchable in forever, but the Lunchable and Coke just saved my life.
That's
Yeah.
It was the
hilarious.
best
I didn't know
thing.
you did that.
Yeah.
It's funny what sounds good at that
Mhm.
point. You're
Yeah.
just like, I'll eat some random thing that I haven't eaten in a decade or two.
Lunchables.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Cool. And shout out to all your friends and Andy and your parents again as well too, because they helped me out as well on my race. They all did a great job and were there to help with anything I needed. So they were super awesome. Turns out I
I
didn't need
bet.
that much, but you both did.
No.
They did a great job. So you're heading out. It's your last lap. You have Britt, you have Leah, friend of the
Mhm.
podcast, former guest on the
Yes.
podcast, the only former guest on the podcast at this point. Yeah, what was that like to start out with Pacers? How are you all feeling as you were heading out for that last lap?
It was
Yeah, go ahead, Lydia.
sorry.
No, you're good.
We were just in probably the best spirits at that first mile. Like we were all happy and cheering, and I think everyone around us was like, "Whoa, like how do they have so much energy?" And we kind of got that the whole race, Mags. I think
Yeah, we
everyone we
did.
chatted to, they were like, "You guys seem like you're having so much fun." Like, here comes the A team. It was funny to hear all the remarks from our like positive attitudes. But yeah, starting with Britt and Leo was so funny. Because they were obviously fresh, so fresh and just what we needed as pacers and kept us alive. Yeah. The energy Britt and Leah brought was so great too. 'Cause we had some funny jokes the whole time and they just kept chatting. And I know like sometimes I probably wasn't as chatty as others, but it just felt like one foot in front of the other. And like we were just a unit and we just had to keep going. And then it got dark, so we had our headlamps and yeah, it's just such a different lap. It's like a whole different race because it's in the dark and I don't know. We had two other people with us but we just kept chugging along. Like it went by quickly until Jackass. And then I think from there you're so close but so far still. That
Mhm.
last 10 miles was so bad. I was so ready. Plus 50 miles seems like such a big accomplishment that we hit 50 and we're so amped and then like, geez, have like a half marathon left. Not, yeah, I'm like, I could be done now at 50. I'd be happy.
Yeah. Maggie, how about you? How did you feel starting off on that last lap?
It was really fun. They were just really hyped up, and so Britt and Leah made it really great just starting out. And it was also so pretty, the sunset over the mountains and the color of the sky with the saguaros. It was just perfect. And we felt really good. We ran for a long time right out of the headquarters. And then we started walking more because then it was the uphill. But they made it really fun. We started every time we would stop, and then when we would run again, we weren't allowed to start until we all said at the same time, "Gentlemen, start your engine!"
And
Everyone around us is probably like, "What is wrong with these girls?"
And then we would go, like, 2 miles an hour.
Yeah, we would go so slow.
We would go from a fast walk to a really fast walk, and
Yeah. But after Jackass well, at Jackass, Lydia and I sat down probably for the longest like 10 minutes we were in those lawn chairs. And I think the same happened for you too, but as soon as we got out of those chairs, our legs, it went downhill from there. That was the first time I had felt, like, the pain, and it wasn't, like, a sore pain, it was just, like, straight up pain. Like, it was a really weird feeling, but I had to gallop from there on forward. I didn't run.
yes!
I did not run
You
in a
Forgot you were
uniform
literally,
way.
you literally gallop.
I was galloping, and
Yeah.
somebody commented, and he was like, "You should try skipping." So I was skipping and galloping instead of running because just going in my normal running form, like, it just hurt too bad.
And I
That's
couldn't skip for the life of me.
No, Lydia
I
couldn't get off
couldn't
the ground.
No, I couldn't lift off the ground at all. I was stuck running.
Mhm.
Maggie's like, "Just skip, it feels good." I'm like, "I don't even know how to skip right now."
that's
It did,
so
it worked.
funny.
Yeah.
I'm glad it worked. I don't think I've ever heard of that before. Not
Mhm.
50 miles into a race, into 100K. And yeah, I guess, hey, whatever works. Galloping and skipping. You just needed like a little horse, the little wooden stick horse, and you could have galloped the rest of the way back.
Yeah, there's an inside joke about that at work because someone had found a stock image of this little girl hobby horsing, and it looks like me as a kid. So it was rumored around my entire office that I was a hobby horser.
Could have
So we're
been.
not too far off.
Yeah, you're almost there. That's awesome. Oh, so Britt and Leah are amazing runners and athletes themselves.
Mhm.
And this was Leah's longest run, right? Once she had gotten
Yeah.
to 15 or 20 miles. I don't know what her longest run had been, but the total lap was
Yeah.
longest she had ever run, right?
Yeah, I think anywhere past a half, maybe, half
Okay.
marathon. Maybe she's done 15, I forget, but yeah, it was her longest run. And it's funny because I was like, was that a run for you?" That was a nice walk.
It counts.
But yeah, it counts.
It counts. That's awesome.
No,
All right. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Sorry, Lydia.
no, I was just gonna say they were both amazing and they kept our minds active. We played games and it was fun because Maggie didn't know them, so they could like ask Maggie about her wedding and learn
Mhm.
learn about the basics too. So that was fun.
Quick strategic question. Did you talk to them beforehand on what you wanted out of them during the pacing? Like, hey, we want you to talk, or did you just play it by ear? Maggie, go ahead.
I
Or Lydia.
oh yeah. I didn't really give them any heads up or
Okay. Yeah.
anything about I was kind of like, I probably won't want to talk. I don't know, but nothing really.
Yeah.
Mags.
Okay.
No.
No plans.
No, I didn't really talk to him before. It was just kinda like if they would have their own conversations and I didn't feel like talking, I just wouldn't talk, and nobody ever was like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
I think they just knew. So we just went with it the whole time, and it worked out really well.
Good. Excellent. Kudos to them for doing that 20 miles with you both. So, Maggie, we'll start with you. When did it sink in? So, you're on your last lap. You've left Jackass. You've left Rattlesnake. When did it settle in that you were about to finish 100 kilometers in the desert?
I don't know that it ever sank. I think I just blacked out everything, and then maybe it really, really hit when we turned that last little corner and you could see headquarters, so we had, like, a half mile to go, and then you make the little loop. I think right there was probably when it really started to hit. But even, like, a mile before, Lydia and I tried to, like, say it out loud to get myself hyped up about it, but I was like, "Lydia, we're doing it, like, we're gonna do it." But I don't know if I ever, like, really felt I don't know, it was so weird, it never felt real, so I don't know, it was still very exciting, but it didn't really, like, me like I thought it would.
Okay. L- Lydia, what about you? Did you have the same feeling, or did some light bulb click for you that you were about to do it?
I I don't know. I had a similar feeling of like, how is this really real? But also I it felt like an accomplishment. We this is kind of exposing us a little bit, but Leah's boyfriend had texted like, "Oh, they're the like ninth and 10th in their age group." Like, that's incredible. And I was like, "Maggie." And so then I got a little competitive. Like, would see people in front of us and we're like, "We gotta pass them. Like, we gotta keep running." Turns out there were only like 12 people in our age
11.
group. 11.
There were
So
11.
we we got last, but the competitiveness came out, and I was like, "We're running till the end, like the last mile and a half," because I saw like a younger girl in front of us.
Oh my
We're gonna
gosh.
Oh,
get her.
in the
Do you
headquarter
remember
loop?
that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, "We have to get in front of her."
Well, that girl also, it turns out she was in the 31K, but we got like unnecessarily competitive the last mile and a half.
It
I
is
was also
so
thinking about
funny.
the pictures, I didn't wanna be behind someone in the picture. I was
Hey,
like, "Lydia,
that's legit.
go."
Yeah. Yeah, we did unnecessarily sprint, but that was really fun too, like coming up that hill
Yeah.
and seeing everyone there and
Oh, and I
knowing what.
sorry. I was just
No,
gonna
you
say
go.
Brian was there. I think seeing Brian, that was a moment where I was like, "Whoa, here we are, like, we made it back." And then I tried to high five Brian, but then Brian almost fell over, and then I almost fell over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Lynn, I
I know.
interrupted you.
No, and Brian, I hope it's okay to talk about,
Oh,
but
sure.
we had heard that you weren't going to finish from, I think, Britt or Leah, and I had told Maggie, but then like 2 hours later, she just was like, "He what?" Because she said something like, "Oh, I wonder like if Brian's gonna catch us or something." I
No,
was like,
no, it was the shooting star. Remember
"Yeah."
someone was like, "Make a wish?" And I said, "I hope Brian finishes."
I was like, "Maggie, I told you, but like 2 hours ago, he's stopping after 2 laps."
That
And
chilled. So funny.
we all were talking about it, like me, Britt, and Leah. We were like, "Oh man," like, but Andy was, or Eric said he's in good spirits or something, and so I was like, "Okay, that's good." And that's when they told us that you were just excited to see us finish, and so we were. That was a. I'm really glad they said that because it made me feel better. But I guess Maggie didn't hear any of that.
No, cause you guys said it, and you were like, "Yeah, it's like, we knew." And I was like, "When did you talk about this?" It literally was hours later.
Oh yeah,
That's funny.
it was before we got to Jackass the first time we talked about it, and then when Maggie brought up the shooting star wish, we were, like, almost done. 15 miles in between. That was funny.
So embarrassing.
Ultra brain. It's okay. I mean,
I
you got
blacked
to be
out.
forgiven for anything that
Yeah.
happens during that time frame. I think even last year, Maggie, when you paced me, I was like, okay, I can't guarantee what's going to come out of my mouth. I don't know if I'll remember our conversation. I just don't know.
Right.
But that's pretty funny. I hadn't heard that part, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, Maggie, why don't you start wrap through? You come up, all of a sudden you're in the lights again, the music's blaring, people are screaming. What was that last little horseshoe like to come back to the finish line? What was going through your mind?
It was really fun. I just kept telling myself over and over, like, enjoy it, soak in every single second, because it'll never feel like this again." And Lydia and I just held hands and giggled our entire way through it after we decided we wanted to pass that one girl. But we were just like, we're doing it. And then you cross the finish line, and I wasn't expecting our entire crew, like, everybody was there waiting for us at the finish in a big group. And like Andy handed me the belt buckle, which was really fun. And so we just hugged everybody. I think I hugged you second, Brian, right after I hugged Andy with the belt buckle. And it was just really fun having everyone right there at the finish. And it was just kind of like a deep breath, like, okay, it's over. We did it. We made it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really, really special.
Yeah.
Lydia, how did you feel on that last lap? What was going through your mind?
Yeah, it was just surreal, I thought. Like, seeing everyone coming up the hill and then, you know, coming the last, like, 100 yards or whatever, where it's, a kind of uphill to the
Yeah.
finish. For some reason, I don't know what I hit, but my blisters and my feet started tingling for the first time. It was a horrible feeling. It was, like, numb, but I was like, "Cool, the last 100, like, meters, I'm good. I'm good to finish," but I was like, "Ow, ow,
Oh, no.
every step." I think one of them had, like, popped or something. It was, like, it was weird. I hit a ditch weird coming around the horseshoe, and then after that, my feet, I was on my last leg with them. They they were done, and so I finished, and I, like, couldn't stand on them. I was, like, leaning forward into all my hugs, and yeah. And that was honestly the second worst part about the whole race, besides mile 8, was walking out of headquarters back to the car.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No one warns you about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was bad.
That's a tough one.
But
Yeah. You got to get
or
back.
walking back to the tent. It was like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was amazing. The photos of the two of you crossing that finish line together were just awesome. They were just incredible. And I wouldn't have missed it for the world. I'm so glad. I mean, it sounds weird, but my day did not end well, but it was the best thing ever to be able to watch the two of you cross that finish line. I wouldn't have traded it for anything. It was so fun. And it felt so good to see you two accomplish something after training since January. We had been talking about this. We signed up on January 1st at midnight. And it all came to fruition on this day. And I'm so thankful that I got to watch the two of you finish. It was incredible.
Thanks,
What a fun
Brian.
experience.
Well, we're thankful for you.
And then, well,
Yeah.
thank you. So we'll wrap up here pretty quickly, but you finish. Obviously, the walk to the car is extremely painful. It's never fun. How was your night's sleep and how was the next day for the two of you? Maggie, go ahead. Start.
I slept great.
Did you?
I went right to bed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I just remember being really hungry because I had stopped taking my gels like midway through the second lap. I stopped taking anything besides like at the rest stops I would have Coke and potatoes. That was my meal plus chicken broth. But I was so hungry once I stopped and McDonald's wasn't open in Fountain Hills anymore. So I got back to the Airbnb just starving and we had no food besides
no.
like olives. We had olives in the fridge. I'm like, I'm not eating olives. I'd rather go to bed hungry. So that was the only bad part. And like, I got in the shower fine. It was a big step-in shower. And like, granted, I couldn't move that great. But like, honestly, I think I felt worse after my marathons. Like, it was more pain kind of everywhere. But I could move a lot easier for some reason than the marathon pain. But yeah, I slept fine. The only weird thing that I told you about was every time I closed my eyes, I would see like the kaleidoscope psychedelic stuff. Which that was the only weird thing that happened.
Forgot about
Don't know
that.
where that came from. That only lasted like that night's sleep and the little nap I took before we got in the car after the race.
Yeah. Wow. Your brain was doing some funny things.
Yeah.
Lydia, how about you? I take it you did not sleep as well as Maggie did.
No, I slept horribly or didn't sleep at all. I got home and yeah, like Maggie said, the McDonald's being closed was such a bummer.
Mhm.
My friends made me pancakes, which was really nice. But it was weird. I was so hungry, but I was nauseous and I tried to eat, but I couldn't eat much. So eventually that shower was incredible and I went to bed and it was so weird. I like couldn't move and I was just laying there wide awake and I was in pain and I had to like move my legs to even turn my body. And finally I think around 2 or 3, I fell asleep. And then I woke up bright and chipper at like 5:30
Ugh.
and was so hungry. Uber Eats McDonald's to me, like 3 meals, but I only ate 1, and I just sat and watched the sunrise and FaceTime friends and ate my McDonald's. It was lovely. But yeah, then that day was the worst day in terms of being tired and sore, but the next day at the airport wasn't horrible. I mean, we still had a limp and stuff, but yeah, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting.
That's good.
No.
I'm with you on the sleep. I can't. It hurts every time to move. So anytime I move in bed, it just wakes me up because it's so painful. So I never have a good sleeping experience for several nights usually. And we all got to go get frozen yogurt the night after the race. So that was Sunday night. And that was a lot of fun. But I have a really fun video that as we were walking out of the yogurt shop, all of us kind of limping, and the two of you were ahead of me, and I was like, oh, I got to get this on video. And it was just funny to see the sort of doing the little waddle
Yeah. Yeah.
to get out, but not making fun of anybody because we were all in the same boat. But it's just people recognize like, oh, they were probably in that silly race that was in town yesterday, and it's why they can barely move. But we got frozen yogurt, and that was awesome. So real quick, last question, I think. How do you feel now? It's a month later. How do you feel about ultras? What do you think about your future? You don't have to give away any plans or no commitments or anything, but I'm just curious. What do you think about it now, Lydia?
Yeah, I would do it again.
Would you? Yeah.
Not without Maggie.
Yeah.
I don't know how doing that solo would go. I don't know. I feel like we just lucked out and we had such a fun day and we were surrounded by so many people, and it truly was unique because it was a 3-lap race. I think it'd be fun to do a point-to-point race. A lot trickier with logistics, but because the loops did get old for me. I'm not a big loop person. I can't run the same. If I do the same route every day, I can't. So I love switching things up. So the loops got hard for me. So I would love to try not a loop course. But no, I just got a puppy, so I'm not committing to anything just yet. But we've been eyeing the Vancouver half or full to come visit you. Maybe that'll be my next race. But once I get the puppy a little bit older, I'll be back.
Awesome. Good. Maggie, how about you? How do you feel?
I feel good. Sorry, I'm a little tired. It's
Yeah. Sorry.
late Eastern time. I keep yawning.
Yeah, you're getting up there.
Yeah, I haven't really run much. I've run a couple times, but I've been lifting more, and that's fun. Life's been pretty much the same. I just kind of remember the race every once in a while, like, oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do it again someday. And I'd love to do it again. Probably not this year or even the one after that. I'd be okay to take a couple years in between these because that's a lot of running. Big toll on your body. So
yeah,
I don't know. I will definitely do another one. Would love to do 100 miles sometime in my life. But I might wait a little bit longer for that one. Probably a decade or 2. But yeah, it was 10 out of 10 experience. And also I wanted to say, I think I said this maybe in the last podcast, but I was going to be really mad at Lydia if she whined during the race.
Thank you.
And I just want everyone to know that she didn't whine once.
Thank you.
If anything, I whined more.
I appreciate that.
So
I did something good for once.
For the record, Lydia was superhero big sister.
Thanks, Megs.
You're welcome. I just needed
I'm
everyone
glad.
to know.
Yeah.
I know that was hard for you.
Yeah, it took a lot. I had to practice.
You two are awesome. Congratulations for what an amazing accomplishment. Again, I just, it can't be understated that anybody that does this, it's a huge commitment. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of sacrifice with your family and with everything else you want to do. And you did it. You both got there, 100 kilometers, and it's just amazing. I'm so proud of both of you. So excited for you both. So the belt buckles are awesome. You'll be able to keep those for your entire life, and you'll always be an ultra runner. And there's not that many people that can say that. Yeah, again, huge congratulations to you both. Thank you both for coming on the podcast another time. I appreciate it. I promise we'll get other guests, but you two are so awesome to have on as well. So I'm kind of cheating as well. But anyway, thank you both very much. I appreciate it. We look forward to seeing what happens next in your lives and in your running career. And until then, we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Brian.
Bye.
See ya.